Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the news from Saba Satellite Channel from Marib. Let's begin with the headlines.
President Al-Alimi congratulates Lebanon on Independence Day.
Yemeni armed forces repel Houthi attack in eastern Al-Jawf.
Five killed in Israeli airstrike on vehicle in Gaza despite the ceasefire. Welcome once again to the details, where President Rashad Mohammed Al-Alimi has sent a cable of congratulations to Lebanese President Joseph Aoun on the anniversary of Lebanon's Independence Day.
In his message, President Al-Alimi conveyed on behalf of the Presidential Leadership Council, the government and the Yemeni people, warm congratulations and best wishes to President Aoun for continued health and success, and to the Lebanese government and people for progress and prosperity. He also expressed hope for deeper cooperation and stronger bilateral relations between the two brotherly nations.
From diplomatic outreach to development cooperation, we move to Aden, where efforts continue to strengthen key service sectors. Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Fisheries Salim As-Sukatri met today with German Ambassador Thomas Schneider to discuss expanded German support for Yemen's agricultural and fisheries sectors and to review progress on ongoing Germany-funded projects.
As-Sukatri highlighted the ministry's plans to revive the Aden fisheries port, restoring its long-standing role as a key hub for fisheries exports. He praised the improvements achieved so far in several agriculture and fisheries projects, which have strengthened infrastructure and improved livelihoods. Ambassador Schneider expressed satisfaction with progress made, especially in the Tawahi Fisheries Port Rehabilitation Project, stressing Germany's continued commitment to supporting Yemen amid the challenges of conflict and climate change.
The two officials inspected the rehabilitation works implemented by UNDP with the financing from KfW at the cost of $35 million, including upgrades to the marine berth, service facilities, the 2,000-ton central cold store, and removal of sunken vessels obstructing development.
And staying in the interim capital, attention shifted from economic development to public health, as the government reviewed national readiness against emerging disease threats. Minister of Public Health and Population Dr. Qasim Buhaybeh chaired an expanded meeting of the National Emergency Committee today in the interim capital Aden to discuss the implications of Marburg virus detected in several neighboring African countries and to review the preparedness of Yemen's health sector for any potential threat.
The meeting assessed readiness at land, sea, and air entry points, the capacity of national laboratories, and logistical preparedness of the pharmaceutical and medical supply systems. It also reviewed the regional and global epidemiological situation and the role of health partners and ongoing community awareness plans.
The minister stressed the need to elevate national alert levels, implement immediate measures in line with international health regulations, and shift from reactive steps to coordinated proactive action across all health sectors. He underscored reinforcing disease surveillance centers, strengthening laboratory diagnostics, and ensuring isolation units remain on standby.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister for Primary Health Care and Committee Chairman Dr. Ali Al-Walidi presented a detailed assessment of current challenges and the technical and organizational requirements for the preparedness phase.
And from Mukalla, where the government Mabkhut bin Madi held talks with German Ambassador to Yemen Thomas Schneider, aimed at expanding strategic cooperation. The talks focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation and expanding strategic partnerships to support the governor's development and economic recovery.
During the meeting, representatives from GIZ and KFW joined discussions on institutional capacity building, training local staff, improving resource management, and enhancing women's participation in leadership. The governor highlighted Hadramaut development plan for 2025-2029 and called for increased German support in water, sanitation, health, and food security sectors.
Meanwhile, on the international stage, Yemen issued a renewed warning about the escalating Houthi threat to global maritime security. Yemen has warned of the escalating threat posed by the Iran-backed Houthi terrorist militia to international navigation in the Red Sea, stressing that the group is acting in service of Iran's agenda and undermining regional and global security.
The warning came in a state delivered by Yemen's ambassador to European Union, Mohammed Taha Mustafa, during EU Indian Ocean and Pacific Forum held in Brussels.
Ambassador Taha emphasized that protecting the vital maritime routes on which the world relies is a shared responsibility. He called on EU member states and the international community to support the Yemeni government, strengthen its capacity to safeguard regional stability, and ensure the security of maritime navigation in the Red Sea and other strategic waterways.
Turning to military development, where units of the Yemeni armed forces in the 6th of military region repelled a major Houthi attack today on military positions east of Al Jawf. Military sources told September Net that Houthi fighters attempt to advance toward the Jawf front lines, but were met with intense resistance.
Army units engaged in heavy clashes, successfully breaking the assault and forcing the militia to retreat after sustaining significant losses in equipment, along with casualties among their fighters. The armed forces drawn units also targeted malicious vehicles attempting to flee the battlefield, destroying several of them and deepening the losses from what was described as a failed offensive.
In a separate incident, several Houthi fighters were killed or injured when their own vehicle struck a landmine previously planted by the militia. An incident military sources say reflects disarray within Houthi ranks and the dangers of their indiscriminate use of landmines.
And from military challenges to humanitarian efforts, the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center continued expanding programs that support Yemen's education sector. The center continues to support government efforts to improve basic service across multiple sectors, most notably education, through programs aimed at strengthening school infrastructure, training teachers, and helping students stay in school by improving learning environments for displaced children and host communities.
Since the start of the 2025-2026 academic year, the center has expanded its activities in several governorates, including Lahj, Abiyan, Taiz, and Ad-Dala, to help vulnerable and displaced families ensure their children can access education and reduce dropout rates. More than 20,000 students have benefited from this support, while 1,141 teachers received training in active and accelerated learning methods.
Schools also received teaching materials, training kits, sports equipment, first aid supplies, and hygiene tools to create healthier and safer classrooms. These initiatives have already led to measurable improvements across targeted governorates, bringing students back to school, enhancing teacher performance, and creating a more supportive learning environment that lays the foundation for a brighter future for Yemen's younger generations.
To international developments now. In Gaza, Israeli airstrikes have once again struck civilian areas despite the ongoing ceasefire. Israeli airstrikes have claimed civilian lives despite the ceasefire agreement. At least 5 civilians were killed and several others injured today after an Israeli airstrike targeted a vehicle west of Gaza City.
According to the Palestinian news agency Wafa, the strike hit a car near Al Abbas junction in Al Riman neighborhood, causing multiple fatalities and injuries at the scene. Hospital sources in Gaza reported that over the past 48 hours alone, 7 people have been killed and 30 wounded amid continued Israeli attacks despite the declared ceasefire.
Since the ceasefire agreement on October 11, the toll has risen to 318 killed and 788 injured, while rescue teams have recovered 572 bodies from various parts of the Strip.
This has been the news from Saba Satellite Channel from Arab. Thank you for watching and have a good time.
Have a good time.